everyone. Welcome to another episode of Second Act Actors. I'm your host, Dr. Janet McMorty, and I am still a medical doctor simultaneously trying to pursue a career in acting. In the dead of winter, in Ontario, where we got about 2 feet of snow over the weekend. Lord help me. My guest this week is Vincent Vinnie Salvador, who is a financial crime fighter and actor. What is a financial crime fighter, you may ask? Keep listening to hear more. Vinnie is probably one of the funniest people I follow on social media. He is also like the ultimate storyteller. As again, keep listening to this episode to hear his incredible storytelling skills, which is 100% a skill. He's the type of person that you 100% want to have a beer with, or, sit around a campfire with and hear him tell his stories, but also direct in anything, like in any project that you can think of, because he's like the ultimate professional. Definitely check out his Instagram page. I'll put the link in the show notes below if you want to watch some hilarious sketch comedy. His sketch comedy partner you may recognize if you are a Canadian Degrassi fan. His sketch comedy partner played Spinner in Degrassi, but definitely check it out. He is a riot. This episode, I apologize, especially if you're a bit audio sensitive, has some audio issues. I tried to futz around with it as much as possible to try and fix the audio. It's on Vinnie's end, but through my technology, of course, my whatever equipment. So I apologize because Vinnie's voice isn't as clear as what I would like, but again, I tried to futz around as much as possible. So apologies if you're a bit audio sensitive. But again, the story is still there, and like I said before, oh my goodness, can this man tell a story? Please enjoy the hilarious and the guy who has the creepiest onset story ever, Vincent Salvador. Tell me your story. How did you get into acting?
So, I got into acting, obviously, through in high school, is when I started acting. But I never took any acting classes. I always just went ahead and auditioned for plays and productions, but never really got into it. So I just always kept plugging away, and then I gave up around grade 10, grade 11, and then in my last year, I said, "Yeah, time's going by really quick. Let me audition for something really big." So I went and auditioned for this one play, ended up getting it, and it just sort of snowballs from there. You can say that my family's very conservative, so they wouldn't really allow me to take certain acting courses and whatnot because they said it's all just fun and games, it's all play. But I enjoyed it, and after that, I went into university, UFT Scarborough, and didn't take theater at all. I took humanities and history, but because I was in a fun class of the double cohorts, there was a lot of competition. So that kind of gives you how old I am. But
we're the same age.
There you go. So double cohorts, the education system wasn't really to our advantage. So I was failing a lot of my courses in my first year of university, and I was about to go on academic probation. And I said, "Why not? Let's change up my areas of study." So I went to theater. Family wasn't happy about it at all. But I said, "Hey, I'm risking suspension right now. I need to do something that I have a passion for, that I love doing." So I said, "What the hell? Let's just do it." And I did. So all through university, ended up majoring in theater, but minored in history and religion. So those were fun areas of subject or topics that I enjoy, as all intertwined. So I went through all university, majored in theater, and after that I just took a break. Started getting to the real world. and worked for financial institutions. And I remember there was this guy named Kevin who was a freshman or a newbie when I was just about to graduate from the UFT. And I told him, hey, listen, if you ever need any help whatsoever, give me a shout. I'll help you out. So graduated. Then like 2 years later, he sends me a message. He said, hey, I'm putting together something for a film festival, which is, it was a UFT film festival. So there were a lot of films being submitted, and it was a competition between all the different campuses. So I said, hey, yeah, I'll help you out. What do you need? He goes, can you direct? I only directed for theater, so for directing for film or camera was a little different. So ended up directing it. Just had fun with the process. We lost out on the awards of Best Actor, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actress, but we won Best Picture.
Hey!
We won Best Picture, and I thought to myself, like, we lost every major category, but we won the big one. How? How did this happen? So I had a little trophy, and I kept that with me, and it was a little reminder that, hey, maybe this is a sign of things to get to sort of look into or to start to venture into seriously now. So started doing that. I had one of my friends, Emmanuel Camango, one of my best friends, sort of talk to me, give me words of wisdom to sort of get back on track and just get into it. So started doing that, and I haven't really looked back ever since.
That's awesome. When you finished school at U of T, at U of T, they're taking theater.
Yeah.
Was the goal acting? Were you like, I'm going to be an actor now?
Well, I wanted to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do it, but with a conservative family, you gotta. Mm-hmm. It's all to them. That was weekend stuff or stuff you do for fun, but nothing serious. But lo and behold, they're upstairs always watching TV and movies and enjoying it. But I'm thinking to myself, if you're enjoying that, wouldn't you want to enjoy seeing your son on there, performing and whatnot? So it was always, I was ingrained, okay, I'm done my schooling. Now I need to do 9 to 5 work. I need to do this, need to do that. So I sort of put that on the back burner and would do student films on the weekends or whatever. But then things start to pick up, and I figured, I'm really enjoying this. I went ahead and just started finding ways to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I said you worked at, some financial institutions.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of jobs were you doing in that time before now?
So I'm still in the financial, realm of things. I won't say which institution.
Yeah, okay.
But I found a way to sort of make it work where I am working overnights. So it allows me to audition, film, write, which I do some writing while I'm working overnight, but it gives my days a lot more freedom to do what I love to do, which was act. But in terms of what I do, the only thing I can say is I'm in the financial crimes division.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. When I know you said like the film that you did with your friend that won you your Best Picture award, that seems to be a pretty pivotal time saying, whoa, I really like this. What was your mindset like at that time? Because I think it takes a lot to kind of get that ingrained, must now work 9 to 5 to make my family happy, but also like my expectations of myself happy. Like, what was your mindset like? Like, how did you kind of get yourself out of that feeling?
I just wanted to have fun. It was just, I wanted to have fun. And I had no shot list. I just had the script. And I said, okay, let's, who do we got? It was literally my first time directing or filming anything on camera that wasn't, self-directed. So I just had a lot of fun, just made it work. In fact, one of the things that was really interesting was one of the first scenes that we shot. We ended up shooting at the end of the night when we realized we had forgotten we had filmed that scene. We literally had about 2 minutes left to tape. I'm like, okay, how are we going to make this work? We don't have this cast member here. We don't have this one here, but we need to sort of bridge or make this thing happen. And we ended up rewriting things on the fly, where my character, which was like this Italian guy, like monster, like he's sort of like the master or the guidance, so like Don Juan DeMarco to this one kid, right? He was trying to get this thing with this girl, and we forgot to shoot that scene, so everyone was gone. It was just myself, my buddy Kevin, and our other friend Tony, who played the main character. And we were supposed to have a conversation at the beginning, but the girls were supposed to be there who he was interested in. They were not. So this is where I'm grateful and thankful that I was able to think quick on the fly. We're filming in a hallway, and I said, hey, how about this? We're going to film by the washrooms. You're going to pretend to get on the phone. I'm going to come out of the women's washroom. Why? I don't know, but it's going to be funny. So we ended up doing that, and it was just one of the things where creativity on the fly is important, but also just to have fun, because that wasn't in the script, but it ended up being even more funnier. To see this guy's like, he's on the phone, where are you? Oh, I can hear you, I'm nearby, where are you? Women's washroom door opens, and I come out. I like this, I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, oh, I was busy, don't worry about it. Sort of thing.
Were you always kind of that, like, thinking on the fly type of person? Like, has that been a part of your personality, or has that just been developing? Like, has that just developed with now the need to be that in the industry?
Well, I had a very unfortunate incident. Probably it was when I was in university, in fact, where I sustained a concussion. So, as you know, and we know, and any actor or actress knows, memorization. My memorization suffered a lot, and I couldn't for the life of me remember certain things, let alone a script. Generally, a monologue would take me about 5-10 minutes to memorize. After the incident, it started becoming like 45 minutes, an hour, where I just couldn't focus. So that's where I started to learn about improv and started really diving into improv and just diving and just immersing myself into it, where, okay, I know the general outline of the scene. Let me try to make things, connect. But I just wanted to make sure that that improv was one of the things that really became a huge thing for me. And it just helps you think on the fly. So that's where that particular thing helped, and plus your everyday stuff as well, including, dare to say, my job sometimes, where I got to think on the fly a lot of the times, and even though it's not quote unquote customer facing, but I am speaking with them, and for whatever reason, you got to put yourself in the customer's shoes. I'm always quick to think about scenarios or sort of relate to them. So that's why improv plays a hugely aspect of my life, but also helps me become even funnier.
Yeah, and I think, so improv for me has been really helpful because I came at this industry and acting with a very kind of like logical brain. I'm in the medical field, like must get everything right.
Yeah.
Get all the words word perfect, which is, as you know, not necessary. And it's almost like a hindrance because if you're just so focused on the words, you forget the story. Mm-hmm. So it sounds very similar to yourself, right? Like using improv to not only overcome, a medical condition that can be so frustrating, mm-hmm. but also that's going to improve who you are as an actor too, right? Like that's a glass half full, I guess, the optimistic side of what has happened.
Yeah, it helps with day-to-day life, and it always helps on set. Sometimes it's going to happen where your co-star's going to forget a line or whatever it is, or you can have a character quirk and, it's something your character would do, or have a shot of something, or do some sort of movement or action that is mm-hmm. based on the character, which was not called from the script, but makes things or the scene even better.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me that's been really helpful as well is when I first started, oh man, did I realize how selfish I was? Because I wasn't listening to anyone, right? Because you're so focused on you looking good and saying the lines good and me. But improv was so helpful in turning that shift and being like, no, in order to be good at acting, it's the generosity that you can give to the person who's standing across from you, and they are the most important person in the scene. And by you giving that and listening to them, it just improves everything else that's going around. Which is tricky because we're all selfish human beings, aren't we? So is there anything else that you've noticed besides your improv ability? Anything else that you've noticed from your other career that you've been able to bring into your acting career and writing and directing?
I would say just in regard to how diverse people are, and just how, unfortunately, the pandemic has brought out either the best of people or the worst of people. So coming across material like that or experiencing things like that kind of is surprising at the same time. So, but it can also be funny. But it's giving me a lot of material to sort of write a lot of things with. So that's always been fun. In fact, I never wrote before. It wasn't until the pandemic hit where I figured, let me just start writing. Let me start writing certain things. Let me start writing little sketches. And I would take certain funny scenarios or lines that I would hear based on interactions and cases I've worked on, and sort of, I wouldn't say directly live from it, but sort of inspire certain situations that, sorry, we'll just edit this part. My throat's killing me. But, sorry. I would basically write off experience and just think, hey, this person I was speaking with was kind of animated and just always said something like this. What if I wrote a character or dropped a line in reference sort of that thing, or just expand on the one scenario or situation or line that this individual gave me? And I started writing about little sketches. In fact, one of the fun little sketches that I wrote, was as an actor, when the restrictions started getting lifted, we'd always have to get our tests done for COVID. And this was an actual conversation with one of my friends, Jazz, who is also an actress. We were talking about basically the testing and how frequently you tested when you book something. And just the conversation we were having sounded really X-rated. Like, yeah, my nose got penetrated in this hole, and that hole got penetrated. So yeah, and we were literally typing and we're thinking to ourselves, how funny would this conversation be if it was a sketch? So I ended up writing a sketch about it, where if a person who's not an actor or an actress heard this conversation, what the hell are these people talking about? And so I ended up filming it with one of my buddies, the comedian Vinnie and I, and my wife ended up being in his cameo appearance at the end of it. But it was based off of a conversation that two friends were having overnight about COVID testing, and it just snowballed and just hearing it. So I just take and lift from whatever I get inspired from, whether it be a negative experience or a positive experience at my job, and sort of find a funny spin to it, which is a fun thing about it.
And that's such a common thread for second act. It's like people who have other careers as well as acting, because you've had these life experiences that you can pull from. And if you have, I'm not knocking people who went to like full on theater school and then now are actors, like I'm kind of jealous of them, but you have these life experiences and this like lab of other human beings to watch. Like I think about that in medicine all the time. Like all my patients I look at, I'm like, how can I build a character out of you? Right. Yeah. Like just, you've experienced more of the world and of the people of the world. And yeah, and pulling from that, like that's what's funny.
Oh,
like that is what is funny.
Totally. And it's always it's always fun when you get individuals or patients or customers that sort of don't really understand certain things, and or you're asking them a question and they tell you something completely different. Where I had this one gentleman call, and to be fair, he was a francophone, and so he spoke English, but for some reason, he gave me more information than I needed to know. And so I told him, like, yeah, so I do see this charge on this particular, on your statement, And he starts going off on a tangent about something X-rated and just watching something. I'm like, sir, that's not what I asked. I just asked if this was swords. That was it. And I just thought about it, like, how funny would this be? Because he spoke perfect English. But for some reason, he just told me more than I need to know. I'm like, I don't need to know what you're watching. I just need to know if this was a legit charge. That's it. Yeah.
I think like that happens. So it happens in medicine all the time, right? You ask them like, you could ask them like, what's 1 + 1? And they'll go off on a tangent about how
morphine.
like their husband's cheating on them with their best friend and all this stuff. You're like, I literally just asked you what 1 + 1 is, but okay.
Yeah. Another, you just reminded me of a story. Another fun one was, so there was a credit card charge, and this lady called in. She said, there's this hotel charge on here. One was done. It was done around 2 a.m. this morning. She goes, well, it's not on my card, is it? I'm like, no, it's secondary card, but your primary on it. Okay. Well, so it's on my husband's card. Yep. Is that a hotel? Yep. Huh. He said he was out for work. I'm like, well, there's a charge at the hotel, so I can confirm.
Yeah,
and she's like, she got me. I'm like, there's a charge at the hotel. That's all I can confirm. I'm calling her. She's like, oh, okay. And just hung up. I'm like, God. I feel bad. It's not like I just I don't know why. Like, what's going on here? But the art of improv definitely helps with our job, or sorry, a job as actors. It helps with my job as a individual working in the financial crimes division, because things are ever changing. You don't know if you're speaking with a legit person or a bad person. But you never know what you're gonna sort of face on a daily basis, let alone hourly basis. So it's always good to adapt. So that's one of the things, which is great that my acting allows me to help perform at work better.
Yeah, absolutely. Has there been anything that surprised you about the entertainment industry?
Yes. How grateful some people are not. Yeah. It surprises me that certain individuals aren't grateful for their position or their roles or whatever it is. One of the earliest lessons I learned was I did a commercial years ago, and it was for Shoppers Drug Mart Optimum, and we were filming somewhere up north, and it shut down the Shoppers Drug Mart. And I remember this clearly because it was in October and it was snowing for some odd reason, really heavy. And it was an overnight shoot, and I was in the holding area. And I was at the early to set. So it was an overnight shoot. My call time, I think, was 1 a.m., but I was there at 11 and just hanging out. And there was this one actress who was there, and she was throwing a hissy fit the entire time. And I'm thinking to myself, you should be grateful that you have this opportunity to be here. And she was complaining that it was cold, yet she had a giant space heater in front of her. She's like, it's cold, I'm hungry, and I had my earphones on, but at a very minimal volume just in case they needed me. I sit myself thinking, thousands of people have auditioned and would kill to be in your position right now, and you're just taking it for granted. Like, why? Like, that's one of the things that I don't get. Like, she was good looking, she was gorgeous, but just her attitude toward the entire shoot, where I'm bored, is it lunch now? Dude, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Be grateful you're working, that you have this opportunity, take advantage of it, enjoy every moment of it. And this is obviously pre-pandemic, but you talk to people, just keep busy, just enjoy. Even though, we're staying in a holding area, just filming next door, enjoy this opportunity, take in the environment, whatever it is. And so whenever I'm on set, I always enjoy it. I never take it for granted. And that's one of the things that surprised me, where she had the looks, but she didn't have the right attitude. And that was what surprised me, was one of the first lessons that I learned, for be grateful for it, because it's a long process.
Yeah.
For casting.
Yes. Now, do you think that happens to... Do you think that happens to kind of everyone? Like, do you think they get, like, why did that happen to her, right? Do you think do people get jaded as time goes on? Or, like, what maintains gratitude, like, for you?
For me, every opportunity I get and that I'm on set, I cherish it. And I always think of it as, I always think about the previous time that I was on set every time I'm on set on something. So if I book something, I'll just sit there and think about, what did I enjoy? What am I grateful for about this experience? And I'll just go through a list of things. I'll look around. I'll make a mental list, and just the crew, the cast, catering, or whatever it is. I'll make a mental note of that, and I'll keep that in mind for when I next book something and I'm on set. And I always think about, what am I grateful for this time around, or what is different? But I always keep that mental note. And I just learned to just have fun. I used to be very serious and sort of, headphones on, arms crossed, not saying anything to anyone. But when I started, when the bookings weren't coming as much, I sort of changed that sort of demeanor, where I said, okay, let me start to talk to people. Let me have fun with this, because I've noticed the last few times I haven't been having fun, where I'm just focus on work. Let me start to enjoy it more. Let me be more relaxed. And when it's time, or a few minutes before we shoot, I will get into that mode to focus and then go out and do it. So I'm just very grateful for whenever I do have the ability, the time to work, and whenever I'm on set, and I always just cherish it. I try to get there as early as possible so I can enjoy it more. And try to stay there as late as possible so I can enjoy it even more.
I love that. Do you have any favorite on-set stories?
I have a lot of on-set stories that are creepy.
Oh, well, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go down that route. It was...
Okay. Whatever you're comfortable with.
I'll give you 2 stories. Okay. One of them was on stage, which was one of my favorite ones. It was my final year. It was the Hard House Film Festival, and I was playing a stuttering student, and so I had to do like the tics and like the stuttering. So I learned how to stutter, and obviously being on theater or on stage, you have to your movements need to be big. Mm-hmm. So it was the show was called Beyond Characteristics, and it was like a murder mystery, like a clue like show aspect of it. So you had the wealthy individual, the caregiver. I was a struggling student. When they're doing character introductions, what they do a freeze frame or a freeze pose. So we were doing a freeze pose, and mine came, and I had to do like this weird face as my character. I ended up pulling my muscle in my neck.
Oh no!
First 2 minutes in, and I was frozen, and I just stood there, and I'm like, I felt like a little like pull or snap, like, oh no. The production was a competition, so it was about 45 minutes in length. So for 43 minutes, I performed stuttering all that with a pulled neck. The next morning, I couldn't move both sides of my neck. And I had a coaching session with my professor. I'm like, oh, this is going to suck. So that was one. Then there was a creepy one. let's just say I had a freak accident on set where I almost died. That was fun. Um, I was I won't say the production, but there was water and boats. Is what I'll say. It had to do with a lot of boats and explosions that happened in the water. And so, uh, let's just say I was with the stunt coordinator. We were on water and we're supposed to drive to. I'm going to give it a condensed version. We're supposed to drive onto this flotation device where there's emergency life raft. We're filming in a canal. There was no one on the water, still water, wasn't warm or windy. We hit two freak waves and we toppled over twice.
Oh my god!
I was wearing my wardrobe with a fake life jacket and steel toe boots. I can swim, but with the wardrobe I was wearing, it was getting soaked. I was being weighed down a lot. Now, the stunt coordinator was also freaking out. It was just us two. We ended up flipping the jet ski back over, and I managed to grab myself onto the flotation device. And people were wondering where we were because they expected us within minutes, but it was like 10 minutes. No one knew what was going on. His water had dropped his rate had dropped into the water, and we eventually, when I got into the flotation device, I said, "Just book it." And I'm driving. We got into the flotation device on set. He walked off. He's like, "I'm done for the night." I had to be calmed down and relaxed by the EMS in the water or the lifeguards in the water. So they had me on my back, sort of calm me down. I said, "Listen, are you okay to film?" I said, "When you're about to film, give me a 2 minutes heads up so I can start to try water and then swim." Yeah. All right. So they yelled, "All right, we're 2 minutes away." I'm like, "All right." So lifeguard let me go. Was treading water and like speeding. Action. Started swimming toward the life raft, and one of my friends, Mark, was in there. And on the flotation device in the emergency raft, they have there's like a little mesh area where you can sort of rest and get into. So I put my knee on there, and I was trying to get into it, but it was so weird. Something was pulling my left leg. And Mark was trying to pull me into my shoulder, and he could sort of feel the jerk of me being pulled down. I'm like, "Mark, I don't know what the F is going on." He goes, "Is something pulling?" I'm like, "I don't know." I go, "Something pulling me." I'm like, "Can you pull me harder?" And keep in mind, the water is lit. So everything's lit up, but I'm seeing, and I don't see anything, but my foot is freaking stuck on something. And Mark, he's a kickboxing teacher, so he's got some straight to it. So Mark, on three, pull as hard as you can. And 1, 2, and pulled, and my shoulder, I had a previous talking to I dislocated my shoulder. I popped my shoulder out so he can pull me in. And we're just sliding in and just getting into the life raft, and I sat there. I'm like, "What the F was that?" And the creepy thing was, both my shoes were double knotted. For some reason, my left shoe was untied. And no one believed me. So when the episode aired, lo and behold, you see, in one of the first opening scenes, you see my legs go up in the air as he pulls me in, and you see my left shoe tie open. And that was the one foot I was being pulled on. So it was very creepy and paranormal in a way that something was trying to pull me down. And to this day, I never liked going into that city, and I always got weird vibes whenever I was there or driving near it. And I'll tell you, it's a place near Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I think I know where it is.
Yeah. I will never to this day go by there and drive near it. When I'm on the highway, I'm like, no. And me and Mark know what happened that night. And the creepy thing was, it was in August of, I won't say what year, because I will sort of, it wasn't that long ago, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten married a few months later. It was such a scary experience. And to this day, me and him both still talk about it, where I'm like, "Dude, if it wasn't for you, who knows where I'd be right now." It was such a scary experience. And he even said, he goes, "I felt something pulling you down."
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Holy crow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that I've heard a lot of crazy on-set stories. That is the winner. Well, yeah, is there anything that you are looking forward to coming up this year?
Besides my surgery?
Yeah, besides that.
We're essentially this December as a male, I'll be able to celebrate Hanukkah. Yeah.
Yay!
Mazel tov. Yeah. I'm just looking to start maybe writing more, start banging out more comedic sketches as I sort of enjoy writing short little sketches. And now that I'm a actor apprentice, yes, that is something I'm looking forward to getting out of that apprentice label and becoming a full member. So just taking it stride by stride to get bookings and just enjoy the process of being an actor, now a union actor. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Other than the recovery time, which the surgery will allow me to have, and just sort of better myself and just get into more reading and self exploration. But in terms of actual things, just looking to collaborate with fun and talented people on my comedy sketches.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have any final words of advice or words of wisdom for anyone looking to do what you do?
Any final words of wisdom? If you don't enjoy the process, don't do it. If you don't enjoy the work that goes into it, don't do it. We do this because we love to tell stories. If you're trying to get into it just for the other parts of it, don't. And have fun. Have fun, because having fun makes things a lot more enjoyable on set. Obviously, within context, nothing goes set like catering on fire or anything. But just enjoy. Just when you're on set, when that time happens, just sit there and just take in the environment, enjoy it, be grateful for it, because it's not every day that you can be able to do this. And that's one of the things that I always remind myself each time on set, where enjoy the environment, enjoy the process. Yeah, you may be hanging around for like an hour or 2 hours until your scene's done, but just take in the experience, live in the moment.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and thank you, Vincent, for being my guest this week. Thank you for your incredible stories and your storytelling skills. Please, please, please keep putting out content on Instagram. You seriously brighten my day whenever you do. Everyone go check out his Instagram page. The link will be in the show notes below if you want a little laughter and a little joy in your life from the hilarious man that you just heard.